most dangerous secrets of energy manipulation ever recorded were buried not in sacred temples or encrypted scrolls, but in a book so forbidden, so cursed, that its very existence was scrubbed from history. A book condemned not for heresy, but for truth. Legends whisper of the Liber Ignis Umbrae, the Book of Shadow and Flame, burned by emperors, banned by popes. Its pages, they say, hold techniques to bend reality itself, to harness the primal forces that flow through your veins, the stars, and the silence between breaths. But this knowledge comes at a price. Those who mastered it vanished. Those who mocked it fell to ruin. Today, we unchain this mystery. What is energy manipulation? Why was this book erased? And what can its secrets teach us about the power you wield every moment, often without ever knowing? By the end of this journey, you'll understand how to tap into the invisible currents that shape your life, and why so many feared this knowledge. But be warned, true power is never given, it is claimed. Let's begin. Long before science named it quantum fields or frequencies, every culture knew energy is the currency of creation. The Egyptians called it Ka, the life force flowing from the gods. The Hindus mapped it as Kundalini, a coiled serpent, waiting to ascend. The Taoists forged it into Qi, the breath of the cosmos, but these traditions shared a warning. Energy obeys neither morality nor mercy. It simply is. And to play with it is to dance with wildfire. Enter the Liber Ignis Umbrae. Unlike sacred texts guarded by priests, this book spoke plainly. No parables, no gods, just mechanics. It claimed that energy manipulation wasn't a divine gift. It was a science so potent that Rome burned every copy after the fall of Alexandria's great library. Why? Because it democratized power. Kings feared it, religions called it blasphemy. Yet fragments survived, buried in the grimoires of alchemists, the diaries of mystics, and the nightmares of those who dared use it. Centuries later, the book resurfaced in whispers. A Moorish sorcerer in Andalusia used its rituals to redirect the course of a plague. A Tibetan monk allegedly dissolved his body into light before a crowd of skeptics. But the most chilling account comes from 16th century Prague, where the occultist Johannes D. reportedly summoned a shadow flame that left his patron's enemies paralyzed, not in body, but in will. Their minds intact, their souls snuffed like candles. Here lies the philosophical poison that doomed the book. It taught that energy is neutral, but consciousness is not. To shape reality, you must first confront the darkness within your own desires. The Liber Ignis Umbrae didn't just offer power, it mirrored the user's soul. And that was a truth too dangerous to preserve. The Liber Ignis Umbrae begins not with rituals, but with a revelation. Energy is not a tool, it is a language. Every thought, every heartbeat, every collision of stars is a syllable in its endless dialogue. To manipulate energy is not to command it, but to converse with it. And like any language, mastery begins with understanding its alphabet. The book distills energy into 3 primal laws: resonance, polarity, and sacrifice. Let's unravel them. First, resonance. The universe hums with vibrations. Your body, your emotions, even your secrets emit unique frequencies. The Liber Ignis Umbrae teaches that to manipulate energy, you must first match its pitch. Imagine a tuning fork struck in a silent room. Soon, every object sharing its frequency begins to sing. This is resonance. The book warns, become the fork, and the world becomes your echo. But how? Consider anger, a jagged, discordant frequency. To shift it, you don't suppress it, you harmonize. Breathe into its heat until it vibrates in tune with your intent. The energy remains, but its song changes. This is how adepts transmute pain into power, chaos into clarity. Second, polarity. Every force has its shadow. Light requires darkness to exist, not as enemies, but as partners in a dance. The Liber Ignis Umbrae mocks those who seek only positive energy. A river flows both ways, it declares. To deny the current is to drown. Here lies the book's most controversial axiom: true power lives in paradox. To amplify your vitality, you must first court exhaustion. To manifest abundance, you must intimately know lack. Polarity is not balance, it is tension. Like a bowstring pulled taut, energy demands opposition to unleash its potential. The monk who dissolved into light, he didn't transcend his body. He became the polarity, the collision of form and formlessness. Third, sacrifice. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be redirected. The Liber Ignis Umbrae is merciless here. To gain fire, you must feed it, even if the fuel is your own flesh. This isn't metaphor. Every choice, every act of will, burns a piece of who you are. The question is, what are you willing to burn? Sacrifice is not loss, it is alchemy. When a tree sheds leaves in autumn, it isn't dying. It's channeling energy inward to survive the winter. Likewise, to manifest change, you must surrender what anchors you to the old reality. The catch? The book never specifies what to sacrifice. That answer is written in your own shadow. These laws are not steps, but a cycle. Resonance ignites polarity. Polarity demands sacrifice. Sacrifice births new resonance. Mastery lies in spinning this wheel consciously, or risk being crushed by its momentum. Yet the Liber Ignis Umbrae omits one vital detail, a warning scribbled in the margin of a surviving fragment. The flame you kindle may first devour the kindler. The Liber Ignis Umbrae conceals a fourth law, unwritten yet etched into every page like a ghost. Reflection. Energy manipulation is not a monologue, it is a conversation with the mirror. Every frequency you emit returns amplified. Every sacrifice you make rewrites your essence. This is why the book was condemned. It reveals that to shape the world, you must first let the world shape you. And not all survive the reshaping. Consider the tale of Vasilis, a 12th century alchemist who used the book's laws to cure a dying city's famine. He resonated with the soil's barrenness, polarized decay into fertility, and sacrificed his sight to channel the energy. Crops flourished, but his mind became a prison. He hallucinated forests growing in his veins, roots tearing through his bones. The Liber Ignis Umbrae does not distinguish between good and evil. It answers only to commitment. Vasilis's flaw, he forgot to ask, who tends the gardener? Here lies the paradox. The deeper you wield these laws, the less control you possess. Resonance becomes addiction, chasing higher frequencies to escape the void. Polarity becomes a trap, obsessing, overshadows until light feels foreign. Sacrifice becomes a hunger, burning pieces of yourself to feel the heat of purpose. This is the shadow flame Johannes D. summoned, not a curse, but the unfiltered truth of his ambition. His enemies didn't die. They awakened to the hollowness of their own desires. Yet the book's greatest secret is this: energy manipulation is not about dominance, it's about alliance. The Taoist sages knew it as Wu Wei, action through non-action. The Liber Ignis Umbrae phrases it more grimly: to move a mountain, become the landslide. You don't force change, you align with the current of energy already in motion and redirect. How? The condemned pages hint at a ritual: the ascent. of the unseen blade. Visualize your intent as a dagger forged from your breath. Then, let it go. Allow the universe to wield you. This is how the Tibetan monk dissolved into light, not by resisting gravity, but by falling upward. But heed the warning scribbled in the margin. The flame you kindle may first devour the kindler. Energy manipulation is a fire that purifies or consumes. There's no middle path. The monk's ascent left his physical form ash, but his disciples swore they heard his laughter in the wind for decades. Was this transcendence or annihilation? The book refuses to answer. It only smiles in the dark, waiting for you to choose. Now the question shifts from, how do I control energy, to what will energy reveal about me? The mirror is unflinching. Are you ready to gaze into it? The Liber Ignis Umbrae did not survive to hand you recipes. Its power lives in principles, principles you can wield here, now. Let's forge theory into fire. Resonance, the tuning fork meditation. Sit in silence, close your eyes, feel the weight of a dominant emotion, fear, anger, joy. Now literally. Vibrate your throat until the sound matches the emotion's texture. Fear might be a low drone, joy, a bright warble. Adjust your pitch until the emotion shifts key. This is resonance in action. You are harmonizing chaos into melody. Do this daily, and you'll learn to recompose your inner world. 2. Polarity, the mirror of opposites. Write down a trait you despise in yourself or another. Now, craft its antidote. Greed's opposite is generosity. Laziness is discipline. But do not reject the flaw. Instead, feed it. For 7 minutes, embody the your trait fully. Then, spend 7 minutes as its opposite. Feel the tension between them. This is polarity's dance. The goal isn't to eradicate darkness, it's to let light and dark negotiate through you. 3. Sacrifice, the unseen pyre. Choose a small object, a coin, a ring, a leaf. Hold it and whisper, what must I release to grow? Listen for the answer, no matter how absurd. Burn the object safely. As it smolders, declare, I exchange what is gone for what becomes. This ritual is not about loss, it's about trust. The universe honors boldness, but remember, the larger the sacrifice, the louder the echo. Start small. Reflection. The Shadow Ledger. Keep a journal exclusively for unintended consequences. Did resonance amplify a hidden fear? Did polarity awaken apathy? Write it, then ask, what does this reveal about my will? Energy manipulation is a dialogue. Your shadow speaks through backlash. Ignore it, and you'll drown in the silence. These practices are not safe. They are alive. The tuning fork may shatter your complacency. The mirror may show you masks you've forgotten wearing. The pyre may demand more than you're ready to burn. This is why the book was buried. Not because it lies, but because it works. So proceed as the ancients did, with reverence, cunning, and the sober knowledge that every spark you summon casts a shadow. You hold the knife. You are the kindling. The question remains, what will you carve into the dark?